It's the morning of the first day of the big New South Wales wide Fish Reflections competition. You can fish anywhere in the state for a dozen different species. Joe and I have hit the beach this morning to look for an Australian salmon and maybe a tailor. All right, we'll get into it. We're casting pilchard baits on our light surf gear and conditions look pretty good. Joe's already had a cast, so I get some advice from her on the direction of the longshore drift. Which way is it going? It's running to the north, but not too hard. And guess what? Joe's already getting her first bite of the morning. In fact, she's hooked up. She's on. Oh! It's jumping, most likely a salmon. Going hard too. Joe's loving this. Notice how she keeps steady pressure on the fish and gains line when she can. All very calm, controlled and deliberate. It's not her first rodeo. The beach is really steep, which is going to make it interesting. Oh, and I'm on as well. Double hookup, you've got to love that. Oh. I'll go this way and give Joe a little bit of room up there. She's just about got hers. Well, that didn't take long. The other thing I'm doing this morning is putting one of the new Shimano NASCI reels through its paces. I've got the 3000 here, which is just perfect for this caper. Joe's got hers. Nice. Oh well, measure him up on the mat. They're not the real big ones that we were hoping for. Ooh. That surge is strong and it sucks back hard. I need to use the waves to land the fish. Fighting the backwash can result in a pulled hook or even a broken line. There we go, good eating size. I'm actually going to keep that one. It's a catch and release competition, so if I keep it I can't enter it in the competition. But I'm quietly confident that I'll get something bigger than that. I'll certainly need something bigger to be in the running, but this one's ideal for dinner, so I'll kill and bleed it right away. What a great start to the morning. It's neatly pinned on my 2-hook rig. I've brain spiked the fish and now I'll quickly cut through the gills to thoroughly bleed it. A few out there, I think. I'll let it bleed out on the cool sand and get another bait straight back out there. Strike while the iron's hot. I'm just making a fairly gentle, relaxed cast. There's no need for lots of distance when the beach is this steep and deep water is so close to shore. The fish are likely to be within 30 metres or so of the dry sand, especially at this time of the morning and on a rising tide. I reckon lots of people cast too far off the beach. I make contact with my rig and pick the braided line up ahead of the reel with my finger to feel for a bite. And it's not too long in coming. Oh, it's come back. Missed him on the first bite. Oh, this might be a bigger one. Oh, I'm loving the feel of this NASCI reel. They've got to be the best value for money of any spinning reel on the market, these new NASCIs. Put it together with a rod like this Izalus and you've got an amazing outfit at a very affordable price. I just can't believe how good the gear is these days. You don't have to spend a fortune. Wow. Quite a violent little shore break here on this really steep part of the beach. I just take my time, there's no rush. Use the power of the water rather than fighting against it. Still not the big one that I want. Might be a little bit bigger than that first one. No, same size. There's probably a school of them that size out there. Swallowed the hooks too, so it'll be a keeper. Bleeding from the gills. I'll keep that one. Well, that's a couple for dinner. Now I need one to measure. I tend to rig my pilchards whole on the two hooks, take a half hitch of the leader around the tail, then break the pilly's head off. And of course that bit goes in for burley. Alright, let's get it out then. I've got some frozen bait scraps pinned in a mesh bag to create a burley trail too. Nothing like a jet of cold seawater up the legs of your shorts to let you know you're alive. Okay, I'll shuffle north to keep up with the drifting rig and walk back slightly to maintain a tight line and contact with my bait. This is really important for bite detection. Then it's just a matter of waiting, and the wait's not all that long this morning. Oh, there's a bite, there's a bite, there's a bite. And, oh, I pulled it away from him. Wonder if there's any bait left. Yes, there is, and he came back. It's always worth just leaving the rig there for a few seconds after missing a bite. If there's any bait left on the hooks, they often come back. I love fishing light like this in the surf. Just keep everything light, stay mobile, hold your rod. I see far too many people weighing themselves down with overly heavy gear, heaving a bait right out the back there and putting the rod in the holder. I mean, look how light this outfit is. 3,000 size reel, this lovely light Izalus rod. One of my favourite budget outfits, this. And it fits really well with the NASCI reel. I've got 10-pound braid on here and I'm running a 16-pound O'Shea FC leader, about a rod length of leader. Now, every one of these fish gives a great account of itself. I've got the drag set at a couple of kilos so that it yields line before pressure builds enough to pull a hook or snap a leader. Very much in a school of these ones. Might actually be a bit smaller, that one. Perfect eating size. I better get one to measure here in a minute. Further down the beach, Joe's hooked up again. And from the look of that bend in her rod, it might be a bigger fish. Fingers crossed. She waits for the right wave to help her surf it in, and then she quickly moves down to secure her catch. It's another lovely Australian salmon or kahawai, and this one's well worth a photo on the competition measuring mat. Yes, he's definitely a different class.
While Joe does that, I'll belt another bait out. It's developing into a hot bite. I bet it doesn't take me too long to find another one. Let's see.
Oh, bites, bites, bites. A little bit tentative. Here comes Joe with hers to release. And the water came to her. There he goes. Nice and lively. What did that one measure?
46 to the fork.
Yeah, cool.
I'm sure that won't be anywhere near big enough to score a prize in the comp, but at least Joe's on the board. And she's definitely on a roll too. Watch how long it takes from her walking down and casting to hooking her next fish. She likes to hold her rod up high to see the braid and lift it clear of the waves. This helps her work out where the belly of line is and remove any slack to establish direct contact with the rig and the bait. And no sooner does she do that than there's a series of strong tugs on the line and she's on again. Wow, very cool. It's another powerful fish too.
That's a better fish.
They're deceptively strong, even the modest sized ones. They punch well above their weight.
Maybe.
Aerial too.
Whoa. Ah. Yeah.
Not that big at all.
Oh well, if he's not deep hooked, just let him go. We'll just keep the deep hooked ones now.
They're lively customers. Luckily they've got no teeth or spikes, so they're pretty good to handle for unhooking and release.
Nicely hooked.
Yeah. Easy release.
Yep.
And back he goes. But the big ones just aren't playing this morning.
Well, it's been a great little beach session. We've caught, I reckon, 8 or 9 salmon. Unfortunately, I don't think any of them will bother the scorers. I reckon you'll need one up around that 70 centimetre mark to be in the running in this competition, certainly high 60s, and we didn't catch anything like that. But there's a bit of action. I might come back here tomorrow morning and just see if there's some bigger ones around. But this afternoon we might put the boat in the water and go out and see if we can find a brim or a flathead or something like that. I love this competition. It's a great idea. Oh, that might have been a bite. I think Joe's getting a bite too. Maybe we'll give it another couple of minutes. Well, we tried for brim yesterday afternoon, but without success. They just weren't on the chew. So, back down to the beach for round 2 and see if we can find a bigger salmon and maybe a tailor.
Again, we're casting whole and part pilchard baits on our light surf gear, and after yesterday's results, we're quietly confident. But can we find a larger specimen?
We've got a light west-nor'wester blowing this morning. A little bit cool at the moment, but I think it's going to warm right up later today. and the wind will probably get stronger, so it's good to get out here early.
The action's definitely a bit slower this morning, and our first casts go untouched.
It'll be interesting. The tide, of course, is 45 minutes to an hour later today, so it would have been bottom of the tide about an hour and a half ago. Maybe they'll bite as it comes in and gets to that same level that it was at yesterday when we started catching them on our first casts.
Of course, it comes as no great surprise to me that it's Jo who hooks up first. She's really into her beach fishing these days and absolutely loving it. You can probably see why. It's a delightful way to catch a fish, especially on a gorgeous morning like this one. I better go down and check out what she's got.
Cool. I don't think he's bigger than your one yesterday.
No, he's
If
not.
the hook comes out all right, just let him go.
Sure thing.
Yeah, excellent. All right, maybe they're more up this way.
There's not a lot of obvious formation on this beach at the moment in terms of holes, gutters or sandbars. It's fairly deep right the way along, so the fish will move around a fair bit. It's just a matter of either waiting for them to come to you or searching for them by moving around. A short way to our south, our friends Mark and Michelle are finding a few as well.
This one, I was just very close to shore.
Yeah, right.
I'm going to go 51.
Nice.
Mark's also signed up for the Fish Reflections comp. It must be my turn next, surely.
Oh! Big one.
Oh, this feels good.
Coming your way. I put a whole pilchard on.
Yeah, that's what I had last time.
It's such an erratic fish, it's running back at me. This is where a fast reel pays off. Tight again.
This feels like a better fish. Oh, he's got me running up the beach. Wow, lovely smooth drag on this reel.
I'm winning now, but the fight isn't over. They're not yours until they're on the sand.
I was nearly dozing off and it just grabbed it and went. Oh, this is the size I wanted to measure. That's more like it. That's the one we came for.
Now, I've got to get it measured, photographed and back in as quickly as possible.
That's a bit more like it. Thank you.
Michelle gives me a hand with the measuring mat and I grab a quick photo. Between 51 and 52 centimetres fork.
All right. I'll get this beautiful fish back in the water.
Nice. By the way, if you're liking the look of those Izalus rods that Joe and I are using, I did a full-length review of them in an earlier episode. I'll put a link to it in the description. In that test, I lifted weights with all three models to show their curves under load, and I also compared them to my much more expensive favourite, the Shimano Dialuna rod.
So I get a lot of people asking me what is an alternative that they could use instead of the 10-foot Dialuna. And the other day, I reckon I might have found them. There are actually three models in this Shimano Izalus range that fit the bill really nicely. There's two ML models, a slow taper and a fast taper version in the ML. And then there's an M model, which is slightly heavier. They've got genuine Fuji guides. In fact, there's not very much to dislike about these rods, except maybe back here. And what you will notice about them, when I compare them to the Dialuna, is just how much longer their butts are. The Dialuna, from the bottom of the butt to the middle of the reel seat where the reel stem comes out, is about 41 centimetres, and to me that's about perfect. These things are 56 centimetres from the butt to the middle of the reel seat. Now, I'm just not a big fan of extra long butts. Look, I understand it's all about letting you spread your hands apart, get a good cast in, all that kind of stuff, but these are light rods. They don't need that great big long butt, seriously. But there is a solution to it. It's not pretty, but something that Bushy taught me many years ago is that the only difference between an overly long butt and exactly the right length is a minute or two on the hacksaw. And I know the guys from Shimano won't like it very much, but I am going to take the hacksaw to one of these later on, whichever one I decide is my favourite, and I'm going to cut that butt down to about 40 centimetres, take about 15 centimetres off it. I'll do a pretty job, I'll cut it and I'll re-glue the butt on there, and I'll show you what it looks like afterwards. But look, you might be someone who really likes these long butts. A lot of people do. I'm just not a big fan myself, but anyway, that's a personal thing.
Funnily enough, I actually learnt to live with those longer butts, but Jo really struggled with them, so I bit the bullet and cut hers down by about 15 centimetres. Then I used an offcut of an old broken rod blank that I'd found as a spigot to re-glue the butt cap in place. Jo really likes the end product, finding it much more comfortable and convenient to use, with a lot less tendency to tangle up in her sleeves and clothing. And she uses it to good effect, as you've seen.
Better go and measure that one. It might be a slight upgrade, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's very lovely coloured up, isn't it?
Yeah, beautiful. Go and measure him up. A little bit of a southerly change has just come through. It's not a particularly strong one, but it's enough to be annoying. But the interesting thing is it's come through exactly when it was forecast to, within about 20 minutes of the Fish Ranger site that I was looking at, who get their weather information from the Bureau of Meteorology. Weather forecasting has improved so much since I was a young bloke. People like to criticise the Bureau of Meteorology, but I reckon they get it right more often than they get it wrong. They might tend to talk up the wind speeds a bit, and I think that's a bit of a carryover from that tragic Sydney to Hobart many years ago when a lot of people lost their lives, and the Bureau of Meteorology copped a fair bit of flack over not forecasting the winds as strong as they turned out to be. So I think they tend to go on the upper side these days. But as far as the timing of the changes and things, I find them pretty good. It's just annoying enough, that sou'easter, that it'll probably mean go home time for us very soon. Might get one more bait out there though.
But it seemed the bite had largely switched off as that weak change hit, and we didn't get many more bites after that. It went very quiet, but we had no complaints.
Well, we caught some fish in this first ever Fish Reflections competition. We had a lot of fun. I don't think we'll trouble the scorers, but it's a great event. And I tell you what, if they run it again next year, I'll definitely fish in it again. I think it's really great. Now I've just got to count down the months until the Pertec comes around again, a very similar kind of event run by the same people. That's another one that I love. I've done several episodes on Pertec comps in the past, and you can find them on my channel, just search them up. Anyway, the fish might not be biting, but the worms are. I'm ready to head home for some breakfast. Any excuse to get out for a fish, and the Fish Reflections gave us a really good excuse. Anyway, until next time, this is Starlo wishing you tight lines. Might just give it another couple of minutes.
If you enjoyed this one, please give me a thumbs up, and if you aren't already a subscriber, I'd love you to jump on board. You can also help me to create more content by shouting me a beer or buying me a coffee using the link down below. I'd really appreciate that. I reckon you might also enjoy these other 2 surf fishing episodes. Check them out, and I'll catch you next time. Cheers for now.